Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Chat with Kat, where I have real chats with real people about real life. And today you get to chat with me. How exciting. I wanted to talk specifically today about the things we would do different if we could go back. And it's not that I want to go back in time, I want to change anything about my journey or my path, but don't you ever have those moments where you wish you could just go back in time and take what you know now to that version of you then, insert it, and then skyrocket your life now? What if you could? Hmm? What if you could collapse timelines? What if you could step into that version of yourself now and not have to wait as long as you did to get to the point that you're at now? Wouldn't that be amazing? And I wanted to share with you three things that I would go back and do differently starting my business journey 10 years ago. And the first thing is belief in myself. I would literally pour so much belief in myself that I would push people just out of the way because there wasn't going to be anything that would infiltrate my mind to make me think any less about myself, about my skills, about my capabilities, about the person that I am. Quite often we get caught up in listening to all the riffraff that's going on around us, like a tornado in our mind, right? And when you listen too much and get caught up in the riffraff, what happens is it leads to self-doubt, insecurity, um, no belief in yourself, and you start to limit yourself as to what you think is possible because you're too busy listening and looking at other people's journey and not your own. And other people are telling you, you need to do it this way, you need to act this way, you need to think this way, you need to dress this way in order to be successful, in order to make money, in order for people to want to work with you. Here's a hint. That ain't true. But what I've come to find is when you're truly just yourself, people love you for who you are because you don't have that like, oh, I need to show up this way, I need to show off that way in order for people to like me. And it's so powerful when you can just be yourself because then other people can feel that too. They feel your energy, they feel your excitement, they feel why you're actually passionate about doing what you're doing. And the second thing, the second thing that I would do differently is stop listening to all the noise. I would stop seeking for things outside of myself to fulfill what I'm looking for within. And that is one thing I'm so passionate about in my coaching is having that transformation from within and really understanding at the end of the day who you are, why you're here, what you get excited about, how you can help other people have more peace, more joy, more freedom in their life by just tapping into their own guidance system, their own intuition, trusting themselves and trusting that they're being led by God, divine source, universe, whatever it is that you want to call it, and doing the trust fall day in and day out, just knowing that everything is going to work out. But the problem with society is that it's overloaded with information and it's so easy to get caught up. I get caught up too in like the messaging, how it's supposed to look, how it's supposed to feel, how I'm supposed to talk to people, even just on social media, because one post is saying you have to connect with people this way, and if you're not speaking to your ideal client, that's why you're not getting sales. And then the other person is like, you need to start calling people out on their shit because those are the type of people that you'll attract. The other person saying, don't do any of that, do this. And man, you can scroll through your feed and the first five people are saying five totally different things. And then you're like, well, what the heck am I supposed to even be doing? But here's the thing. That's what you get to figure out on your own. And you get to trust in your own intuition and you get to trust that people will just feel your authenticity. They'll want to work with you because you show up as who you are. You're not putting on a show, you're not putting on a front, you're not trying to be somebody you're not. And the thing is that when you get wrapped up in all the noise that's going on, like a tornado in your mind, it's hard to focus on anything else, which causes you to be in a constant state of fight or flight. And then when you're in a constant state of stress and overwhelm, you can't think clearly anyway. And then the last thing that I would do, honestly, I would know that I don't have to do it all alone. I don't have to go through this journey alone. I don't have to put my back against the wall. I don't have to put my guard up. That would be the very last thing that I would do is just stop putting my guard up, stop putting my walls up, stop thinking it's not going to happen and take the trust fall and just fall because you are supported, you are being guided, you are being held, you are being loved. And just because you can't see or feel it from the people or the external circumstances around you doesn't mean it's not there. And that has taken me a long time, you guys, to really grasp and to really hold on to. But if you're going to be in a constant state of fight or flight and you're fighting your nervous system on a daily basis, just trying to regulate yourself, and I'm talking to my hyper independent women who build businesses, who work out, who are creative, who are inspired, who literally just go after what they want when they want. You know, like you have to keep up your household, you have to keep up your health, you have to keep up your business, and you have to put food on the table for yourself. And if you're constantly battling the stress of it all, it's tough to get in the best shape of your life sometimes and build your business and show up and be excited. It's like you got all these plates spinning around, but how do you move through it? How do you, as a single boss babe, awesome ass chick, move through this on your own? You ask for help and you allow it to show up in whatever way it comes. Also, a tough pill to swallow when you're hyper independent because I wanted it to go the way I planned it in my head so many times. And when I look back at the times, even last year getting my car, it didn't go the way I wanted it to go. But I remember going to bed after 2 months of fighting and pushing and struggling and doing everything that I could to make this happen. And I said, you know what? I surrender. I'm letting it all go. I am getting that car and I am driving to Calgary in 2 days to see my friend. And I'm doing it in my car. There's no other option. That is what I want. Because when you're scrounging and you're trying to make things work, the problem is you're putting too many sticks in too many different fires, trying to figure out the one way it's going to stick. It's like throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping something will stick. But when you're busy throwing spaghetti at the wall, hoping something will stick, you're living in hope that it will happen, not certainty because you didn't decide. And that was it for me when I got my car. I decided I just want my car and I want to go see my friend in 2 days in a different city. I want to drive my car there. That's it. I don't want to look for any other way of getting there but that. I went to bed that night, woke up the next day, went about my day, not thinking about the car. And by 5 o'clock that night, that car was in front of my house. Because you know why? I said, I'm done trying to figure this out. I'm done trying to make it work how I want it to work. Because it's not working. It's taken me 2 months. And in less than 24 hours, by surrendering, I had the car in front of my house. Not the way I wanted it to go. The money didn't show up how I wanted it to. The way I got there didn't show up how I thought it would. But you know what? Everything worked out. And that to me was God saying, "Hey, this is an option for you. This is how the car is going to show up. This is how I'm bringing the money to you. This is how I'm getting you to the car to pick it up. You just have to say yes, and you just have to accept this is the way I'm getting you what you wanted, even though it is nothing how you wanted it to work out." So, where in your life are you not letting go? Where you're trying to control everything, you're trying to control all the outcomes, you're trying to make it work your way. If it doesn't go this way, I don't want it. Surrender and trust, you guys, are the two toughest things when all you want to do is win so bad in your life. So I would love, love, love to hear your thoughts today on how you would trust and surrender when all you want are for things to work out. But yeah, the three things that I would do different is believing in myself, not listening to what other people are telling me to do because they're not in my shoes, they're not in my life. And you know what I found? When things didn't work out and you did things the way that they told you to do it, they weren't going to fall on the sword for you. They weren't going to take the blame if it didn't work out. So you know what happened? It got turned around and more doubt got planted in my mind because, oh, you probably didn't do it right. You probably didn't know what you were doing. So people aren't going to fall on the sword for you when they give you advice and it doesn't work out. That's why it's so important to trust your intuition. And then the third thing is surrender and trust. Those of you that are really good at that, drop some comments. I want to hear them all. But that's everything I have for you today. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Chat with Kit. And next week, I'm pretty sure I'm going to have a guest on. So stay tuned for that. It's somebody I met in India, across the world. We had a great connection at the end of last week. I can't wait to have her as a guest. She's honestly magnificent, you guys. You're going to love her. So make sure, as always, you're commenting, sharing, subscribing because I do appreciate knowing you're enjoying this because I'm enjoying it and it's so much fun. And as always, I hope something magical happens for you today.